Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. So, Namaste everyone. My name is Sarvesh Tiwari and I shall be your instructor for the course Know Enough Indian History Summer 2020. So welcome to today's session, and we have a tight agenda, which is to number one, meet your new friends. So it's a group of about 25 or little more, about 30 kids, just like yourselves in this batch. So first thing we shall do is we shall go round the table. I expect you to give your name very clearly, which city are you from, and which grade are you going to. Those three things: name, city, grade. So we shall do that. And since it's a very large group, just turn on your camera so that we can see what you look like. Okay. I will walk you through the ground rules. My request is keep yourself muted. When you're not speaking, just mute yourself. Keep yourself muted. So Sarthak, mute yourself, please. Okay. So I will quickly walk everybody through the ground rules for the classes, how this program will happen. Then we shall get into why study history at all. What is so great about history? Today we shall also then talk about the geography of India, because it's very important for us to completely get familiarized with the geography so that we can grasp the history as well. And lastly, we shall start talking about the ancient Hindus or ancient Indians. Who were they? So that's the agenda for today over the next 1.5 hours. With that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call out the names in the same order as they appear in this participants list. Unmute only yourself, tell your name, your city, your grade. Keep your camera on so that we can see you. And having done that, having introduced yourself, please mute yourself again. So with that, can I start with Ashrita? Ashrita, can you please tell us about yourself? Ashrita, you have to unmute yourself first. Ashrita, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I had to go get something. My name's Ashita, and I am in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm going to 6th grade.
Very nice. Thank you, Ashrita. You can mute yourself again. Abhiram.
Hello, my name is Abhiram Tamana, and I live in Edison, New Jersey, and I am going to 6th grade.
Thank you, Abhiram. Aditya.
Hi, my name is Aditya. I'm in Monroe and I'm going into 6th grade.
Thank you. Amog.
I'm Amog Rahman, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going to 6th grade.
Okay, thank you, Amog. Anag.
My name is Anag Patil, and I live in Fremont, California, and I'm going to 7th grade.
Thank you. Amrita.
Hello, my name is Amrita Bosetti. I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm an incoming 8th grader.
Thank you. Arnav.
My name is Arnav. I live in Macon, Georgia, and I'm going to the 6th grade.
Great, excellent. Arpit.
Hi, I'm Arpit Kishawani, and I live in Ellicott City, Maryland, and I'm going to go to 8th grade.
Excellent. Dinu. There is a name there, Dinu. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Dinu, go ahead. So we'll come back to Dinu. Jashmini.
Hi, my name is Joshmini, and I live in Queensboro, New Jersey, and I'm a rising 7th grader.
Excellent. Thank you, Jashmini. Jhansi.
Hi, my name is Jansi. I'm from Chester Springs in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to 8th grade.
Excellent, Jhansi. Welcome. Karan.
Well, my name is Karan Mandela. I live in San Leo, and I'm in 7th grade.
Excellent, Karan. Thank you. Lucky. Lucky, are you there?
Yeah, my name is Lucky Mariella. I'm going to 7th grade when the school year begins, and I live in Georgia.
Where in Georgia?
Suwannee.
Suwannee. Okay, thank you. Medhansh.
Hi, I'm Medansh, and I live in Plano, Texas, and I'm going to 7th grade.
Thank you, Medhansh. Neil.
Hi, my name is Neil. I'm going into 5th grade, and I live in Los Santos, California.
Okay, thank you, Neil. I see there is a name called P, just P. Can you please identify yourself?
Namaste, my name is Pratyusha, and I'm going to 6th grade.
Was that Pratyusha?
Pratyusha, yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Pratyusha, thank you.
And I live in San Jose, California.
San Antonio, did you say?
San Jose.
San Jose, excellent. Very nice. Rahul.
Hi, I'm Rahul Kailasam. I am going to 8th grade, and I live in Frisco, Texas.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, Rahul. Ranjana.
Namaste, my name is Ranjana Tiwari. I live in Jones Creek, Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going to 8th grade.
Okay, thank you, Ranjana. Sarthak, may I request you to mute yourself? You can unmute when you will introduce yourself. Till then, please keep yourself muted. Reyansh.
Hi, my name is Rayansh. I live in Fremont, California.
Okay.
And I'm going to 8th grade.
8th grade. Very good. Rishika.
Rishika Talamseti, and I'm going to 7th grade, and I live in San Ramon, California.
Very nice. Thank you, Rishika. Samarth. Samarth, you there? Okay, we'll come back to Samarth. Samreen.
Hello, my name is Samreen. I'm going to 8th grade, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you, Samreen. Sankeert.
Hello, my name is Sankeert. I live in Bellevue, Washington, and I'm going to go to 8th grade.
Okay, very nice, Sankeert. Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah Chapurkar. I live in South Brunswick, New Jersey.
Okay, very nice, Sarah. Welcome. Sarthak, finally you get the chance.
Hi, my name is Sarthak. I live in New Jersey, South Brunswick, and I'm going to 7th grade.
Okay, looks like you live on some other planet. We see some interesting virtual background there. But thank you, Sarthak. Sejal.
My name is Sejal. I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm going to 7th grade.
Very nice, Sejal. Thank you. Shaylee.
Hi, my name is Shiley, and I live in Orlando, Florida, and I'm an incoming 7th grader.
Okay, welcome, Shaylee. Shrotik Sai.
Hi, I'm Shrutik, and I'm going to 6th grade, and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Thank you, Shrutik. Welcome. Shruti Mahesh.
Hi, my name is Shruti Mahesh. I live in Cumming, Georgia, and I'm a rising 6th grader.
Very nice. Welcome, Shruti. Shubham.
Namaste, my name is Shubham. I live in Duluth, Georgia, and I'm going to.
Welcome, Shubham. Sorish.
So I'm Sarish, and I'm in 6th grade, and I live in Dallas, Texas.
Very nice. Welcome. Shriya Katreddy.
Namaste everyone, my name is Shreya and I'm an incoming 10th grader, so a sophomore, and I live in Pleasanton, California.
Welcome, Shriya. Sorish.
Did you wait?
Oh, you just did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tejita.
Hi, I'm Tejita, and I'm going to 6th grade, and I live in Pleasanton, California.
Very nice, Tejita. Twisha.
I'm Twisha, and I'm going to go to 7th grade, and I live in Cupertino, California.
Very nice. Welcome, Twisha. Is there anybody who did not introduce themselves?
Yeah, it's me.
Go ahead, Dinu.
Yeah, my actual name is Pranav, and I come from Massachusetts.
Okay. So, Pranav, you can change your name in the display. You can just go there and you can right click and more. Under more, you can say rename. I'm doing it for you. Okay, I'm doing it for you. Pranav. Okay. So, there you go. So now you will be known as Pranav. Anybody else? Okay. So I assume everybody introduced themselves. If anybody is left, please, now is the time. Okay, excellent. So with that, let me jump straight into some ground rules. So we all got introduced, and hopefully over the next 8 weeks, some of us will become good friends. Yeah, you'll hopefully have met kids of your age group, Hindu or Indian kids from different cities of America, and some lasting friendships, I hope. So here are some ground rules about how we shall do this program. First thing is, this class will happen every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Sunday for 8 Sundays starting today. So that's the first thing, very easy to remember. 12:30 Eastern Time every Sunday. Try to be punctual 5 minutes early, maybe 10 minutes early. Join the Zoom link which is published. It is the same Zoom link every Sunday. So you don't have to ask about where is the Zoom link. It's the same Zoom link which you can use every time. Always join from indoors, from a quiet room where there will be no noise or distraction. Turn the camera on Sometimes because of the bandwidth, there may be challenges. At that time, you can turn the camera off, but otherwise, please keep your camera on. Try to use a headphone or earphone because the audio and the especially microphone in the laptops may not be very clear. Therefore, better use a headphone or earphone so that you can hear the conversation as well as we can hear you. Very important, when you are not speaking, which will be most of the time, keep yourself on mute. We don't want to hear television running if there is one in the background. We don't want to hear your siblings fighting with you. We don't want to hear your mom talking to her friends. Please mute yourself. Don't distract others. There will be during the class some online quizzes. So go to this website called menti.com. Menti.com, which will here menti.com, which is what we shall use to conduct the quizzes. So go ahead and open that menti.com in the background. We don't have to use it right now, but just keep it open, menti.com. I will tell you other things later. All these classes will be recorded. So if you missed a class for whatever reason or missed part of the class, the recording will be available, which you can hear later. Okay? Each class will follow with some homework. Homework will be assigned to you in the Google Classroom application. I hope all of you have joined the Google Classroom application, but I don't think all of you have. I'm expecting about 30 people there, but so far all the people are not there. So what you need to do, you need to download Google Classroom application, and then there is a code. That code expires today. So you need to use that code and join the classroom, because all the homework, all the quizzes, all the assignments, reading material will be provided in Google Classroom only. Then there is a WhatsApp group. Those of you who have a cell phone, please join that WhatsApp group. Link has been provided in email. If you don't know what that WhatsApp group is, you can send an email to me. I will direct you. If you do not have a cell phone, please ask your parents to join the WhatsApp group so that at least they can tell you if there is an announcement or a discussion in that group. During the week, at least twice, there will be some reading material provided. Usually that material will be to do with what you learned in each class. Sometimes it may be to do with the upcoming class. There will be a lot of reading material. So pace yourself. Trust me, it will be fun. It is not going to be boring. But there will be some hard work required in reading material. So keep your schedule in control so that you are able to read all of it. Most of the days, there will be quiz questions. Sometimes it will be objective A, B, C, D options which you need to answer. Sometimes it may be a map kind of an exercise. Sometimes it may be some quick Google research type of a thing. But there will be some question or some exercise every day. Please try to do it on a daily basis and submit your work, which will be graded. So entire class, everyone will get some grades. And top 3 in the class will also be rewarded with some surprise gifts. So please try to be timely, do your quiz every day. And we will create some teams within this group of about 30 children, maybe 6 or 5 teams, and these teams will work on some fun projects. Okay, I hope everything is clear so far. Any question about the ground rules?
Sorry, can I just add something?
Can you keep it up? Can you please keep it up for some more time?
Can I keep it up?
Do you want us to copy this?
No, I think it's quite clear, but I can send it in the WhatsApp group or classroom. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, can I just add something really quick?
Yeah.
I've been noticing that there's a lot of usage of the chat, and some of it is not necessary, and it's a little bit distracting. So I hope that a lot of people will, decrease the use of the chat unless it's necessary.
Yeah, please do that. Don't use the chat too much. Okay, don't. It distracts. Don't do the chat. when you need to just raise your hand and speak. Okay. Any other point? Any other question?
I had a question.
Your hand.
Go ahead.
So for the online quiz, is it on menti.com every day?
No. That quiz will be in Google Classroom.
Okay.
Menti.com is for now.
Okay.
How do you raise your hand?
By raise your hand, there is something there. If you go to more, you can say raise your hand, I think. But you can just speak. Okay. For now, let's just say that you can speak. So yeah. So there, somebody raised a hand. You can just say raise your hand. Okay. There is something called raising a hand, and I will know. Okay. Don't do that. Don't play with Zoom too much. Especially don't do annotations. Annotations are very distracting. So we will follow discipline, because for such a group of 30 plus kids, if we don't follow discipline, it will not be fair on others. So let's follow some basic discipline of stuff. I will move forward. Above all, be curious, ask questions, and be enthusiastic. Participate. Okay. So why study history? Can you all now go to menti.com, enter the code 981173.
Uncle, can you see the code again?
Yeah, it's there on the screen. 981173. You see on the top.
What are we doing now?
So now you type your thought about we should study history because whatever comes to your mind. Why should we study history?
Wait, about the empty thing, what is that exactly?
Yeah, just type your answer.
Nancy, can you please tell us the code? We cannot enter it. It's just invalid.
So type again 981173. Let's see what everybody is saying. It tells us about the past. If we study history, we will not mistakes people made in the past, and we can learn from their mistakes. This is important to know about your country's past, how it came to be. History is about knowing the past, by knowing the past. So you have 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds.
Where do we enter the code?
When you go to menti.com, it will ask you to enter a code, and code is 981173.
Wait, is there a next question or no?
No, for now only one question.
It doesn't ask me for the code.
It should.
I think you're going to the wrong website. You should go to menti.com.
Menti.com, menti.com. First thing it will ask you is code. MEN, here you see, menti.com. Menti.com, and enter the code.
What's the code? What's the code?
981173.
1173.
Why is someone else getting answers?
Okay.
Is there
So-
only one question?
Yes.
Because it's
Yes.
saying like wait for
Yeah, one question.
presenter to switch.
Yeah, one question only. For now, one question only. Okay. So
I accidentally put like all my answers.
it went away because you didn't enter in time.
Like,
So let's look at the answers. Let's look at the answers. It tells about the past. Yeah, sure. If we study history, we will not make the mistakes people made in past. That's very important. So if you study history, you will realize what all happened in past. which will include good things and it will include things which were not so good. It will also tell you what were some of the mistakes that our ancestors made and learn from those mistakes, so that if when the similar situation comes before us, we shall not repeat the mistake they made. Very important. History is about knowing the past. By knowing the past, we are well aware of precious successes and failures. This helps us move forward in present and future. That's also very important. If you want to really move forward, do the progress towards future, you must have very clearly understood things which have happened in past. Without knowing past, how will you know about the future? Important to know about the past. Knowing the past of your country and others, it can be fun too. That's also very important. History is a fun thing. It's more fun than a fiction. It's a real past which tells us a lot about our own self as well. So it is fun, absolutely fun. History is important, and how we came to be how it is. Very nice. Because it's important for each person to know about their past, because it's good to learn about your culture, old mistakes. We should study history because we need to preserve our country's heritage. Yeah, that's true. It's important to connect ourselves to our roots and appreciate everything that came before us. It's fascinating to learn about the hundreds of generations before us and to learn about their stories and perspectives. What a nice answer. That's a very nice answer. So, should we not be curious about what our parents did when they were young? Don't we want to learn about our grandparents? What were the situations in life when they were young? What about great-grandparents and maybe their great-grandparents? It is very simple curiosity that we want to learn about our previous generations. What were our ancestors doing maybe 1,000 years back, 2,000 years back? What was their life like? What was that old lady who we can call our great grandmother? What all went on in her life? How did she live? What kind of clothes did she wear? What kind of food did she eat? Where did she live? It's a simple curiosity, is it not? If you think about it, it's just a pure curiosity that should be the biggest reason why we should learn about the history. Absolutely. So, all great answers. How do I finish this? Okay. So why study history? Now, if you go to a doctor's office, if somebody wants a health checkup, what does the doctor ask? The first thing doctor inquires about is the history of the patient. What all ailments this patient has suffered from in the past. If there is any surgery that this patient has undergone. If there are any medications that this patient had taken, whether this patient had suffered any stroke or has any history of diabetes or blood pressure or any such conditions. That's history, is it not? That's the medical history of a patient. Without knowing the medical history of a patient, it is going to be very difficult for the doctor to diagnose what's going on with this patient and also prescribe the medication and the treatment for future. So history is important. Similarly, in law and order, if let's say, thief is caught by the police, taken to the court, the first thing that judge really looks into is the history of this person. Is it his first crime, or has he been a habitual thief? Was he brought before the court of law before? What was the record of this person in the school. Has he been a good student or was he a troublemaker? Whether this person has been a law-abiding citizen before or not. All of that history truly bears a lot on how the judge is going to treat this offender. Same thing in so many other situations like weather. So a weatherman really needs to understand the history of rains, temperatures, pressures, etc. in a region before he will be able to predict how the rain is going to be in the current season. So a lot of studying the climate, studying the weather, etc. Depends on the history. So I would say same thing even the business. A shopkeeper needs to understand his sales last year before he can make a prediction for and preparation for how much sale should they expect in this year. So all of that is nothing but history. Everybody needs history. And somebody did answer in the quiz that history repeats. So I'm sure most of you must have played this game, Temple Run. If you have not played, I'm sure you are familiar with it. So in the Temple Run, when your player is running on that track, collecting coins, or perhaps jumping through, obstacles, and also kind of saving themselves from some of the dangers that come on the path. If the player knows what happens in the loop from the history that they have accumulated in their minds about that path, they will be more and more successful, is it not? Somebody who knows the history saying that, okay, the roadmap looks like this, after this point comes this point, because it has happened before with me, I became a better player. So history, that's exactly what history is. Since the history repeats, if you study it, you can very well understand how your today has been shaped. And if you understand your today, you will probably be able to make a better plan for the future. You can understand how the tomorrow might shape up. You can understand the forces which have caused our today to be in a certain way and make preparation for it, for changing it. Yeah. And above all, history is a very interesting thing. If you saw a stone lying in a corner of a barren land, and on that stone, if you saw some letters inscribed, that's a clue for you to figure out how that stone has come to be, who has written some message on the stone, because after all, they were trying to pass on a clue to you about their own time, some important message. It's almost like treasure hunt. So every piece of history, studying history, is in my view nothing short of reading a detective thriller. You are given clues by your ancestors to trace your path back to understanding what kind of life they were living through. Yes, so history is truly a detective thriller, no less in suspense, in mystery, in sometimes very, very interesting things than, say, a novel or a short story of Sherlock Holmes or Poirot or what have you. Therefore, let's develop a taste for history. Now, some people said that history repeats itself. However, if you see the literature, the history books, etc., there are many who have thought that history is really like a straight line. It's a journey from point A to point B. Especially a few decades back, almost a century back, the historical literature and research was very kind of Bible centric. So Bible is, as you all know, the Christian book of truth, I would say. I mean, they consider Bible to be historical truth. And according to Bible, strictly speaking, this whole creation, including the earth, including the humans, including everything we can see or not see, is only as old as about 6,000 years from our time. The creation itself came into being according to Bible just 6,000 years back almost, and it will end at some point in time when God kind of causes the entire entire existence cease to be, which will be like day of judgment, etc. So that theology is a straight line, and in their mind, history doesn't repeat itself. It's a straight line from point A, which is origination of this existence, and B, which will be day of judgment. But their vision is narrow. Their perspective of history is limited because they're not able to see very far. That's why they say that history is a straight line. Because in last 1 century, as people started realizing how old really the earth is, as the skeletons of fossils of ancient creatures started being discovered, as the rocks and stone tools used by ancient humans started being discovered, as the geologists started telling us about the ice ages and Jurassic era, etc., it became very clear that Earth and the existence is fairly old. It's not as new as the 6,000 year old. And people started realizing, in fact, if you read the old histories of Greece, etc., there the historians have indeed mentioned that history repeats itself because they have broader vision than this bibliocentric philosophy of history. Because these ancients had more vision, they were able to see the repeated patterns. Just like you play the game of Temple Run and you realize it repeats, it's a loop. They also realized that history and the progress of humans, progress of existence, it's not one-time job. It happens again and again and again. So they thought of history as a circle. But people with even more vision, even more farsight, realized that it's more than just repeating. It repeats, but not like a circle. The history is like a spiral. So this shape that you see, this is called spiral. I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It is a curvilinear path like this, but the same spot you don't come back again. It is very close to the same spot, but not exactly the same spot. So you keep on going and it's unlimited. There is no end to it. In a circle, theoretically, the point you start, you still reach the same point again. In the straight line, a straight line is nothing but a circle of a huge size, is it not? If you draw a circle whose radius is infinite, you will end up with a straight line. So straight line and circle are more or less two modes of the same thing. Straight line for somebody with a limited vision and circle for somebody with more vision. But spiral is really mind-boggling. It's almost like if you have noticed while your parents have driven you in a very big parking lot, maybe going into the parking lot or coming out. If the parking lot has multiple levels, they kind of make circles. These circles, however, are a spiral. They take the vehicle to the multiple levels. You kind of keep repeating the motion until you reach the top or the bottom of that spiral. So history is exactly like that. It repeats, but it doesn't reach exactly the same spot. Any questions so far before we get into the India's geography, or maybe even a comment?
Yes, I have one comment. So, as you said that the bibliocentric philosophy is like only 6,000 years old. So I think more recently they found out that it's not 6,000. It's like very, very older, like around 4 billion, 5 billion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
like the era of technology and history both like merged together to find out how old the earth is.
Very true, very true. So, which is why the people who believe literally in Bible, they say that evolution didn't happen. They also say that Earth is not so old. So there is a group of Christians who still believe that all this modern history, discoveries of dinosaurs or fossils or ancient monuments, this is fake. They say that this is the work of devil. They believe that also that God is perhaps testing their faith in Bible, and therefore God has sent all these pyramids, all these ancient fossils, all these skeletons, so that they test the faith of Christians, whether they truly believe in Bible or not. So modern discovery, for sure, as you said, has totally made that belief invalid. The bibliocentric philosophy of very young earth cannot be true at all. There are so many other things, such as Bible says that earth is flat, earth is not round, and this universe is geocentric, which means everything revolves around the earth. So there are so many other concepts which have been invalidated by the observation and the modern discovery of science and history, as you said, and so many other disciplines. So good comment. So I shall proceed. Let's talk about the geography of India, because it's very important for us to understand the geography. We shall be referring to places, names, features quite frequently in the program, and which is why we should understand the geography. So Asia, which is the biggest continent, right, I would say at the bottom of the map of Asia. So this is Asia that you see. Saying it is South Asia is a very wrong notion, but we will not spend time about that today, maybe some other time. If you notice, there are these dry patches, yellow, brownish things. These are less green areas of Asia. And then suddenly you see very clear, demarcated piece of land, which you can say starts from here, where I have my dot, where there is a very thick green line, above which again there is a significant demarcation, which is the greatest mountain ranges of Himalaya on one hand. And here on the west, you can also see a green, thick area. Yes, this goes on up to here, almost like this. So you can demarcate this whole region very clearly from rest of Asia, simply by looking at it geographically. This country, this land, this area, region has been known as India for several centuries. That name has kept changing, but India is very clearly demarcated from rest of Asia geographically. Very green, as you can see. Now, let's flatten that map out a little bit and study the geography. On top, where I have my red dot, watch carefully. This is called Pamir. Okay, Pamir. Pamir is, it's called the roof of the world. It's one of the tallest plateau from where several mountain ranges start. Hindu Kush on one side, Karakoram on the other. Pamir is a very important place on earth. It's currently in Turkmenistan country, I think. Starting from there, if you go south, you'd notice this whole area, as I said, is huge Himalayan region. Himalaya, this word, Himalaya. Himalaya is made up of two Samskrit words, Him and Alaya. Alaya means home and him means snow. So house of snow is Himalaya, which is both longest mountain range in the world as well as the tallest. So from length perspective, if you start here from this point in Kashmir and you start measuring length of this mountain from there up to, let's say, this point where it ends in the east, this length is roughly 2,500 kilometers. 2,500 kilometers. Yeah. And it's also very wide. So here in Kashmir, you can see from width perspective, it's almost 500 kilometers wide, 400 to 500 kilometers wide. And here in the east, it is more like 150 to 200 kilometers wide. And Himalaya itself is made up of multiple mountain ranges, almost parallel to each other. So the topmost, this area where I'm having my laser point, this is called Tibetan range or Trans-Himalaya. Okay, so this is the Tibetan range in which the important places like Kailasha or Manasa Sarovar, those places are. This is called Tibetan range. Okay, so that's the first one. You can take notes also, because there will be questions that I will ask after this in the quiz. So take notes. So first thing is Tibetan range. Second, after that, is called Himadri. Okay, Himadri. Himadri is the longest range within Himalaya and also the tallest. It starts from Kashmir, goes into Uttarakhand, north, very north of Uttarakhand in India, Nepal, Sikkim, top of Sikkim, Bhutan, and Arunachal Pradesh, which is a state in India. Okay? So this is called Himadri, which is roughly 2,400 kilometers long. And some of the tallest peaks in the world are located in the Himadri range of Himalaya. So, for example, the tallest mountain, which is Everest or Gauri Shankar, Everest, Mount Everest. Mount Everest is located somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here where my cursor is. Okay, and then not very far from Mount Everest or Gauri Shankar is another peak called Kanchenjunga, which is in India. So Mount Everest is in Nepal, Kanchenjunga is in India. It's in Sikkim. So on the border of Nepal. Kanchenjunga is the third tallest peak of the world. Both of these are more than 8,000 meters tall from the sea level. 8,000 meters tall, which is very tall. And there are more than 100 such very tall peaks in this Himadri range. Okay, there is another one, K2. K2 is in Kashmir. It's somewhere here. So that's the second Himadri. After Himadri, if you notice, after Himadri, there is somewhat like greenish, still with dots of white, but somewhat greenish. Can you not do the annotation, please? So greenish mountain range, almost as long as Himadri, but not as tall. So this greenish mountain range next to Himadri is called Himachal. Himachal is very pleasant, very habitable area of Himalaya. It is largely starts from Kashmir, the entire Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Nepal, lower parts of Nepal, then Sikkim, then Bhutan, middle and lower parts of Bhutan, and Arunachal Pradesh, etc. This is all called Himachal, ranges of Himalayas. That's the third one.
Come here.
Fourth one, beyond the Himachal, is called Shivalik. Shivalik is the bottommost part of the Himalayas, and you can notice there is kind of where the dark green line you see, that's the Shivalik. Shivalik are small hills, right, towards the end of the width of Himalaya. Can you please mute yourself? There's a lot of distraction. I mute and then you unmute yourself. Why do you unmute?
Excuse me, I have a question. Are you gonna send the notes in Google Classroom? Because it's a little confusing, like the
yes, we will.
things.
Yes, notes will be
Okay.
sent. Notes will be sent. But try to. So the purpose of class is to really interact. If you are not understanding something, ask questions. Okay, so I will, once I finish describing Himalaya, I'll stop and take questions. But write your own notes. When I say something important, write it down. We will send you some reading material which will be about this concept. Don't worry. Now,
can
hang
you
on.
repeat the four
Hang on.
things again?
Yeah, I will. Let me finish, then I will repeat. So the fourth, this thick line that you see at the bottom of Himalaya is called Shivalik. Shivalik range, which are the least tall ranges of Himalaya. These are very nice places, holiday places almost. So all the hill stations such as Shimla or Haldwani, Nainital, Dehradun, Kathmandu, these places are close to this range. Now I will repeat. So those four, and fifth is on the east side here, what you see, which bounds India on the east side with the rest of the Asia. This is called Purvachal, hill of the east, Purvachal. That is also part of the Himalaya. So in a way, Himalaya starts from here, goes like this. Let me annotate that. So Himalaya starts like this, goes like this, okay, maybe like this. This is Himalaya. Within Himalaya, I told you there are 5 areas. So this is one area which is called Tibet, okay, Tibetan Himalaya or Trans Himalaya. That's the first one. Tibetan Himalaya, first one. I will call it T. Okay, it is Leh, Ladakh and Tibet. Your important places like Man Sarovar and Kailash, this is here, somewhere here. Okay, so that's in Tibetan Himalaya. Then next is Himadri. Himadri is what I have almost drawn. This line that you see starting from let's say here going up to here is Himadri. I will call it H. Okay, Himadri. Next to Himadri is Himachal. Himachal is also tall, but not that tall as Himadri. This area, somewhat green, is called Himachal. Okay, and next to, after Himachal, starting somewhere here, this thick green mountain range is called Shivalik. Shivalik. And lastly, you have on the east side something called Purvachal, or the mountain of the east. So Purvachal. So this is Himalaya. Any questions about Himalaya before we proceed? Any questions?
Are we gonna have a test on the Himalayas?
Yes, just now we are going to, just now. Okay, so
Sir, earlier
go
you
go
mentioned calling.
go ahead. Yeah.
You said that calling India South Asia was a wrong notion. Could you
Mm-hmm.
explain why, or?
Not today. Later. Yeah, just so maybe we will have a separate discussion about whether it's accurate to call India South Asia. These days in textbook everywhere you read South Asia, South Asia. Is that a better term, or India is a better term? Okay, I think in yeah. So not today, not today. We will not discuss today. Later. Okay, let's focus on
What's the
Himalaya.
Google Classroom code?
Ask me in the WhatsApp. It's given in the WhatsApp, or send me an email. Any other question about Himalaya?
Is there going to be a recording of the class?
Yes.
You said that.
Okay, thank you.
Any question about Himalaya? Not
No,
logistics of the class. Okay, no. So let's go to quiz menti.com.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why is geography important for history?
Why is geography important for history? Is that the question?
Yes.
That's a very nice question. Why is geography important for history? So, first of all, let's look at the Himalaya itself. Himalaya is so tall. Okay, it does a few things for India. If I explain that to you, you will realize why geography is important for history. Himalaya is so tall, it does a couple of things. First of all, as you know, Himalaya by name itself is house of snow. So when the summer comes, that snow melts and it flows into India through rivers. Okay, so there are many major rivers, especially Ganga. So this river that you see right here, big thick line that you see all the way up to here, this river is called Ganga. Okay, similarly this river you see is called Brahmaputra right here, Brahmaputra.
I have a question.
Hey, hang on, there is an answer being given. Hold on, first listen, then you ask. And then similarly you see this green thing here. This green thing is really the pathway of river called Sindhu or Indus in English. So Sindhu or Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, from here to here, almost 4,000 kilometers wide, is a gift of Himalaya. If Himalaya didn't exist, if Himalaya did not exist, then this India also would not exist in many ways. India will not exist if Himalaya did not exist. Why? Because it is the Himalaya which made this area, number one, through the rivers, habitable and green. It made it fertile. These rivers not only bring water, but something called alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is the fertile soil which comes from the hills into the plains. So this whole greenery is because of Himalaya, number one. Number two, Himalaya also protects India from something else. Can somebody guess what that something else is?
Armies and
Armies, invaders, absolutely right. Invaders. So Himalaya has given India an isolation almost. So it hasn't completely eliminated the invasions. There have been a lot of invasions, but those have been from the western side. It still offers almost like a fortified protection. So China had to construct a Chinese wall, Great Wall of China, and for India that perhaps 1,000 times more effective wall has been constructed by the nature for the same purpose, okay, in a way. Now, as you have realized that name India itself came from the name of this river Indus, and also in Hindi language or native languages, Hindu, this word Hindu also comes from the name of this river Sindhu, okay. So there is an identity given, cultural, civilizational identity of this green piece of land and people that live there, the behavior, the culture that they practice there. There is a collective name that has been given because of it started with geography. It started with geography, then it got translated into culture, civilization, languages, religion, practices in life, traditions, and with that then politics also. But it all started with geography, and geography matters because geography is what causes that civilizational unity, okay. So now of course I have not mentioned that there is this area is now having Pakistan, a country right here called Pakistan, okay. This green area that you see is largely not in control of India now. This area is called Pakistan. There is another country here, somewhere here in the Himalayan, Himadri and Himachal, between those two ranges. This is called Nepal. Okay. Then going further east, here you have a country called Bhutan. Okay. Further east, you have here a country called Myanmar or Burma. And then this area, which you see some blue lines, this here is called Bangladesh. In south, you have Sri Lanka. Okay. But together, this whole geographic unit has been one unit for a very long time. Politically, it might have different constituents.
Sir, you broke up.
Okay.
We didn't hear what you just said. Yeah, your mic like kind of like lagged or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It broke
So,
up.
all right. So this geographic unit for a long time was called India by the foreigners, and it is a pretty accurate description by geography. If you can see, if I clear this annotation, you can clearly see that even without a mention of which country is where, you can see that geographically there is a clear country, and we shall talk about it more in subsequent classes. But it's important for us to understand geography of India so that we can understand the history. Okay. Now I mentioned these rivers: Indus, Ganga. So this river here is like this. Okay. This is it goes okay, further north. Sorry, like this. And there are so many rivers which feed that river. There are there are 5 important rivers which feed that river called Indus. Then there is this river here called Ganga, and there are many rivers like Yamuna, Chambal, which feeds Yamuna. There is Kosi. There is so many rivers which feed into it. This is Ganga system.
I have a question about the Ganga.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard it. I've heard the name Ganga before, but I don't know why it's important.
Why it's important is, first of all, the green thing that you see, pure economics and people's life. If you see this green area here is because of Ganga and its tributaries. If Ganga did not exist, this whole North Indian plain would be barren. So to illustrate my point, do you note? So hang on. Do you notice this area here? This area is called Thar. Okay, Thar, Thar. It's a desert. Now it was not a desert always. There used to be a river flowing right in the heart of this, somewhere like this. Name of that river was Saraswati, the goddess Saraswati. Okay, same way the name of river is also same, Saraswati. Now that Saraswati river disappeared. It dried up several thousand years back, something like 5,000 years back. It dried up. And when it dried up, this became barren land. Yes? If Ganga did not exist, what will happen? This will not be green. It will be something like this. Okay? It will be like this here.
Like the Arab deserts? It would be
Yeah, exactly. It will be desert. Exactly.
Oh.
So,
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Sorry.
okay, good. No problem. Now, so that's Ganga. Hey, I think we are just at the, like more than 1 hour into the course. We will have 25 more minutes. So, let's take a few quiz because I don't want you people to start becoming restless. So before progressing, let's take the next quiz. Go to menti.com.
When I got there, it's still asking me the history question.
Yeah. Hang on, go there.
Where's
Go
the
there.
code? What's the code?
I will give you everything. Just have patience.
There's code for this.
Have patience.
So, what's the website's name?
Menti.com.
Okay, thanks.
So the question that I will ask you is, India is the 8th largest country in the world. Okay, you have 30 seconds to answer. How big is India? For that, you need to go to menti.com. MENTI, menti.com. Enter code 981173. Question that you are asked is, India is 8th largest country in the world. What is X?
What's the code again?
It doesn't show any answer thing.
It's just saying get ready.
Still
to
saying
play.
get ready.
Get ready for it.
Get ready.
And then question 3, please.
Yeah, it just says get ready.
Yeah, that's all it's saying. Right, just says get ready, and that's all.
And for me, it says the quiz is not open. Please wait for the presenter.
Yeah, now it just said that for me as well.
Go back. What is the code? I didn't hear it.
Okay.
I think I just saw the answer, and
Don't worry. Have patience. Bear with me. Have patience.
You have to present it.
What's the code for menti.com?
It is 981173. It's written on top.
Don't go anywhere. Just keep there.
It's still loading. I'm not getting it.
You have to click enter, right? Because it says press enter to start quiz on the bottom.
Can you do that?
it's still looking for me.
Now you started.
Yeah, now it started.
By
Okay.
area, India is the 8th largest country in the world. X is you have 30 seconds. Okay. 3rd largest, 5th largest, 7th largest, 8th largest. Your time is up. Okay.
What? I clicked on it and it's saying you didn't vote in time.
That's okay. Don't worry.
I think you're at the wrong thing or something. It's not supposed to say that.
I'm there.
You sure?
Yeah, I clicked on it.
Okay. No chit chat, please. Okay. So most of you got that. Next quiz question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I didn't get to put my name.
Okay. Be ready next time. Don't worry about last one.
So I didn't need to put my name.
You don't need to put your name.
Oh, okay, good.
So third largest mountain peak in the world. Okay, your time starts now. You have 15 seconds.
Continue.
You don't speak up. Don't tell answer to others. Mute yourself. So somebody, I think, gave out the answer loud. So that's why everybody came to know.
Somebody's like mom or sister said something.
Okay, somebody's mom or sister. Don't speak aloud. Okay, we'll go to the next one.
Mom was that.
Oh, you have there. There you go. So far. Okay. This is how many points you are getting. So Shruti is the leader so far. Okay, next quiz. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let me just give me a moment. Nobody will speak the answer. So question is, what are the three main river systems? Go ahead and answer. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think majority of you got it. Indus or the Sindhu, Ganga river and Brahmaputra. These three are the main three river systems of Himalaya. Okay. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Saraswati is a lost river. We will in the next class talk a lot about Saraswati river. But today Saraswati is a lost river. Yamuna is a tributary to Ganga. Indus, Satluj, Ravi. Satluj and Ravi are two of the tributaries to Indus. Okay. So there are 5 rivers that feed Indus itself. Those 5, Jhelum, Ravi, Chenab, Satluj, etc., they are all part of one river system, Indus river system. Ganga, Krishna, Kaveri. Krishna and Kaveri are in South India. We shall take a look at those also. But they are not originating from Himalaya. So the right answer is Sindhu, Ganga and Brahmaputra.
Oh.
Okay. So leaderboard at the end of that quiz, where are we? I think Shruti and I don't know who is AF. Who is AF?
That was me. It picked a name for me.
Oh, it did. Very good. So now I know who is doing mischief and who is serious. Okay. Let's go back to my slides.
I joined late, so I couldn't really get all of them.
No problem. You will catch up. Okay. So I want to spend some more time about Himalaya. So I told you about rivers. Let's understand that a little bit more. So I hope you are able to understand the importance of rivers. Why is river so important?
Because of farming, water,
and to keep the ground greener than
it might help.
what happened to
It might help
suns.
guard the country
for vegetation.
It's a source of fresh water.
All good answers. No, these are all very good answers. So let's look at one by one. So of course, it's a source of drinkable water. Can you drink the water of ocean? No, you cannot.
No.
You can drink, it's a salty water. You cannot, humans, I mean, at least old times, they could not really drink these salty water, right?
Yeah.
Now we have desalination technology, so we can really convert salty water into fresh water. But
water. Really.
A good source of vegetation.
Yeah, it's a source of. So let me mute you all, okay? Because you people just keep on speaking. That distracts everybody. When you have finished speaking, mute yourself, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And when I invite discussion, then speak, not continuously. That distracts everybody. Okay. It's a big group, 36 people apparently. So, it becomes difficult, less productive if you don't mute yourself when not speaking. Also, don't speak continuously. Gather your points and then speak together. So anyway, so let me summarize. It is the river which brings fresh water for drinking purposes, first of all, for humans as well as for other animals. So if a human society needed to have, let's say, cows or horses, those cows and horses, if you, let's say, are living in this area, where will they drink the water from? There may be small ponds, there may be some well, maybe groundwater that they can drink, or they can harvest rainwater, right? That's the only thing they can do. But if they have the fresh water from rivers, it will be so easy. And therefore, all the great civilizations have been found to be near the river valleys. That's the first reason. Second reason is vegetation. You look at this greenery, so green, right? Why? Because again, humidity in the soil has been brought by the rivers. Not only humidity, also fertility. So the so-called alluvial soil, alluvial content has been brought into soil by the rivers. So this area where, let me clear this a little bit. Clear. Here you see there is a network of rivers. All these lines are rivers. So this is one river. This is one river. Another one. You see all these white lines are rivers. Another one. There is, in fact, there is one river here also. Okay.
Okay.
Note down one homework. First homework for you.
Okay.
You need to write down the tributary rivers of Indus, tributary rivers of this river Ganga, and tributary rivers of this river Brahmaputra. Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Write down the names of the tributary rivers of Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. Okay, that's the homework. Now, also, so river is one thing, but please understand, again, you are not muting yourself. Why are you not muting yourself?
Wait, Ganga and what other river?
Brahmaputra.
Yeah. Can you mute yourself?
I have a question.
Ganga, Brahmaputra, and what?
That's it.
Indus.
Oh, Indus too?
Three river systems. Okay, so another important thing I already told you about river, I already told you about how it protected from invaders. But Himalaya does one more thing for India. You see all this great body of water? Yes? On the left, this water is called Arabic Sea. This area is called Arabic Sea. And on the east, this area is called Bay of Bengal. Arabic Sea, Bay of Bengal. And further down in the south, not in this picture, but starting from this point onwards, all the way up to the South Pole and
Mama,
Australia.
त्यांनी homework दिला. Yeah. Yeah. The homework is you have to write the tributary rivers of Ganga.
Okay, you people are more talking to each other than listening to me. Okay, I don't like that. So the great body of water below is called Indian Ocean. Okay, Indian Ocean. So as you know, there are other oceans like Pacific, Atlantic, right, Arctic. But again, you are not muting yourself. Just for saying yes or who. You don't have to speak up, right? You just speak up without having other, rest of the class to listen to you. Keep yourself on mute when you're not saying something very important or asking a question, please. So, the only ocean which carries the name of a country, name of a very ancient civilization, only one ocean is called Indian Ocean. No other ocean is named after a country, and no other country has an ocean named after them. So what happens? With the sun radiating large part of the day, this water, huge body of water, forms lot of clouds, and these clouds move northwards and eastwards, like this direction. What happens when they reach Himalaya? Himalaya stops them. Himalaya becomes a barrier for those clouds to go further. And these clouds cannot rise above Himalayas. So they stop there. And then they accumulate. And as they accumulate, the pressure is formed, atmospheric pressure. Then what happens? Rains happen. This entire country is blessed by the monsoon rains. So where the water of the rivers does not reach, there the water from the rains reach. So this entire, especially east and north and central and also south, you see this greenery? This is in a large measure contribution of Himalaya. So Himalaya causes a very rich economy, very rich soil, very fertile farming, and therefore industry and a rich civilization. Okay. So therefore that country, which on one end is bound by Himalaya from northwest to northeast, and in the south by huge body of ocean, and therefore that isolated piece of earth has been called India because of the river Indus, that is the gateway to India for the west. And that isolated, blessed piece of earth has been home of very ancient, one of the most ancient civilizations of the world, called Hindu civilization. Okay, so that's the importance of Himalaya and the geography. But let us understand, I mentioned Thar desert. Okay, so this is an important feature of India's geography. You already understand Himalaya and its rivers. Plains. So all these rivers flow in this area, right from Punjab and Jammu here, all the way to Bengal here. This whole area is called North Indian Plains. This area is called North Indian Plains. This is the great Indian desert of Thar. Let's move to south. So in the South India, you have, first of all, in this central region, on top it will be somewhere towards the south of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. This area, starting from here, going on the west to this place, this is called Gujarat. Okay, and in east, this place, which is Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. So if you draw a line like this, curve like this, then everything under this up to this point, if you draw a line like this and like this, almost a triangle, this triangle is called the peninsular India. Peninsular India. Okay, or the plateau of South India, this is called. These are not as tall as these areas, okay, but they are tall enough and they are flat. So there are also some hills. So for example, here you have this mountain range is called Vindhya mountain range. Vindhya in the central India, Vindhya mountain range. Little bit on the west and north, there is a mountain range called Aravali, which is just above Gujarat and Rajasthan, Aravali, and here is Vindhya. So there are, so this great area, big area, very fertile also, and full of rivers. This area is peninsular India or the plateau of South India. There are important rivers here, which we should understand. So starting, let me annotate. Yeah. So you have two important rivers. I will give you literature so you can read it into that. Narmada and Tapti. Okay. Narmada and Tapti rivers, like this. Then further in the east, you have Godavari, Great Godavari River. Godavari starts in Maharashtra and enters Andhra Pradesh, and this great river is called Godavari. Little bit further south are Krishna and Tungabhadra rivers. Okay, Krishna and Tungabhadra rivers. Then you have the great river of Kaveri, which starts in Karnataka, goes into Tamil Nadu. And you have many other rivers in between. So your second homework, first homework was to write about 3 great Himalayan rivers and their tributaries: Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra. So you need to write about their tributaries. Tributary is a small river which merges in a big river. That small river is called a tributary. Tribute is like giving something. So tributary gives a tribute of water to a bigger river. So what are those rivers? So that your first assignment. Second assignment is writing down the names of Central Indian and South Indian rivers. Okay. So that's your second assignment. Now, another thing you should, let me erase this. This area here is called Western Ghat. So Western Ghat is the area between the western coast where it meets the Arabian Sea. That thin area between there and the mountain range, thin mountain range, that area, raised area, is called Western Ghat. And similarly, you have Eastern Ghat on the eastern side. Okay, so that's very important. Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat. There are some mountains in these areas as well. Hang on to your questions. I know you have questions. I will give you time. Hang on, let me complete my part. Note down your questions. Now, India also has some islands. So there are some islands here, especially called Lakshadweep Island. Lakshadweep Island. And let me clear again. And then here you have islands in the Bay of Bengal going to the Indian Ocean. These islands are a huge group of islands called Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These islands are an important feature of India as well. Okay. Now you have questions, I know. So speak one by one. Unmute, speak, and mute yourself again. Go ahead.
I have one question on the homework. So for the last homework is you have to write down the names of Central and South Indian rivers, right?
Correct. And I don't worry, don't ask question about homework. I will mention the homework again in the group in the Google Classroom. So you will be very clear. Ask me questions about the Indian geography.
Okay. Why are the mountains in the south called Ghats?
Sorry, what's that?
Why are the mountains in the south called Ghats?
Ghats. Okay, very good. Ghat is a word in Sanskrit and Hindi, especially Hindi, which is bank of a water body. So if you go to take bath in the river, then you say that I'm going to the ghat. Ghat is the river bank. Similarly, the shores, these big shores here, therefore, are also called ghats. Okay, ghat means bank of river, in this case shore of the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Okay, that's why they are called ghats. And since these mountains of South India are almost very close to the sea itself, okay, less than 100 kilometers from the sea, and you start seeing the mountains. Some places right at the sea you see the mountains. Okay, so in Kerala, north of Kerala, etc., you have sea on one side, mountain on the other side. Okay, therefore those mountains are called ghats. But by the way, strictly speaking, mountains are not ghats. Ghats are the seashores. Mountain starts little bit after that. Any other question?
I have a question. So my question is, what's in the sea? What's the difference between the light blue and the blue?
Light blue is less deep sea, dark blue is deeper sea. Okay, what else?
Yeah, I have a question. So you said like up north, that's where like a bunch like there's invaders that attack. Are there like a specific group of invaders that attack?
There has been a whole range of invaders. Okay, right from very old times to recent times. Right now we are under invasion from China. Okay,
China.
so there have been range of invaders, and in the next 8 weeks we are going to get into those invaders as well. Okay, so have your patience. But there have been a range of invaders. Most of them have entered from this area. Okay, some of them have entered even from sea. So here this you see like a shoe thumb type of an area. This is the Arabia. So from Arabia via navy also there have been attacks on Gujarat as well as in Maharashtra area, especially Gujarat and Sindh. There have been multiple attacks like this from the sea.
Wait, I have a question. So I know the Himalayas protect India from land attacks, but what protects India from sea attacks?
So
Is there like a certain thing? Because
so
I've heard India has a strong navy, but I don't know
yeah.
if that's what protects them.
No, you are absolutely right. India has had one of the oldest navies in the world. In fact, so much so that this word navy, it comes from a Sanskrit word now. Okay, now means to float or kind of do seafaring. Okay, in by extension. So navy, this word itself comes from India. So India has always had a strong navy. Most of the times that navy was for merchant purposes, but not always. So some of the South Indian kings used armed navies as well to establish some colonies in the southeastern part of Asia, in this area. Okay, Indonesia, etc.
Was that like when India had an empire, one of the
Yes,
Indian empires?
Yeah, like
that's right.
Because I've heard from my dad that India had several golden ages, but
Right.
is that like when they were conquering a lot of countries?
No. So India's golden age, India has not been.
Empires.
So hang on. So India, by culture, has been, because we have had so much wealth given by nature. We had such a green country. Can you see? I mean, this is the greenest place. So abundant wealth has been given to us by nature. And when nature gives you wealth, when you don't have to go and fight unnecessarily, will you really like to go out and invade other countries? No. So by temperament, India has not been an invading country. India also has not been an empire building country. So we have had some situations when we established our colonies in the southeast, but even that was not so much about invasion or empire, but about spreading your culture. Okay, so Indian culture has gone to China, for example. China was largely Buddhist, as you know. But did we invade China? No. We conquered China culturally, civilizationally, without sending armies. Japan, for example.
Oh,
You
there's
see,
more than one way to conquer a country?
again, so conquer is aggressive word. We never think in terms of conquering, etc. Okay, we say let everybody be happy. We pray for happiness of not only humans but every being. That has been our civilization. So we don't think in terms of conquering, etc. What we think of is spreading happiness, spreading good ideas, spreading good thoughts and your learning, civilization. So for example, India discovered and invented many sciences, including mathematics, including astronomy, including very systematic knowledge of medicine. All of that knowledge India has freely given to the world. Okay, now that's not called conquering. So Indian medicine system from India went to Arabia. From Arabia, it went to Europe. And that medicine system is what became the foundational philosophy of medicine in Europe eventually. Now, same thing with this decimal system, this numeric system that we use, starting with the 0. Okay, that concept of arithmetic originated in India. Oldest inscriptions that mention the number 0 are in India. Now from India, that knowledge went to different parts of the world, especially Greece, Iran, Arabia, other parts of the world. And they even acknowledge that India gave it to them. But do we really say that we conquered? No. That's a very Western, very alien way of thinking from Indian perspective. Okay. Any other question?
No.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
I
Well,
have all the cures for every does it have all the cures for every disease?
so disease keep evolving. So just like when I told you about spiral, right? So it's not a circle. You have not completed every experience in human history. There are going to be new experiences. It's a spiral, as I told you before. So no, it doesn't give you the cure for every disease, but it gives you a foundation, a framework, a way of doing research about medicine. That definitely Indian medicine system has given. We will talk about that in subsequent classes. But let's go back. I think we are just over time. Can you guys hang on for 10 minutes? Because I want to get to one part of today, which is ancient humans.
That's fine.
So,
kids.
Okay, let me cover this topic very quickly. Annotation clear. Mute yourself, please, all of you. Hold on to your questions if you have any, because I want to cover this topic first. So somebody said before that Earth, according to current knowledge that we have, came into existence about 4.5 billion years before our time. 4.5 billion years, which is a long time. And humans, in the current form, came into existence about 200,000 years before present, which really means that if the Earth's life so far is about 1 day of 24 hours, then modern human beings, which is the Homo sapiens sapiens, us, we have been around for just less than 5 minutes. If Earth has been around for a day, we have been around for 5 minutes. Which leads us to understand a few terms, and you may understand it and then note it down also. In the historical literature, in the history that you read in school, as well as assignments that I will give you, you will come across these terms. YBP, it means years before present. When you're talking about very long periods of time, we talk about thousands of years before present. So when we have to say thousands of years before present, then we say KYBP. K stands for kilo or thousand. Okay, so KYBP. And when we have to talk about really long periods of time, millions of years ago, then we say MYA, which is million years ago, or MBP, or million years before present. Okay, BP stands for before present, YA stands for years ago. Okay, I hope this is clear. Years before present or years ago. Sometimes you'll see years ago.
I have a question.
That can become.
That's what I was going to.
Okay, hang on to your questions. Hang on to all questions. Just let me complete my thought. Years before present is sometimes appended with K or M. K stands for kilo or 1000 years before present. So if I say pyramids were constructed roughly 5 KYBP, it means 5000 years before present. 5 KYBP means 5000 years before present. When I talk about MYA, million years ago, MYA stands for million years ago. Okay, so we can say Earth was created 4500 MYA. Okay, so MYA. Lastly, understand this terminology CE and BCE, common era and before common era. These terms are used by us to describe the timeline of more recent events in the last 2000 or 3000 years only. There we use this term CE, BCE, etc. What it means is simply that follow your regular calendar that you are following. 2020, for example, is the year that we are in right now. So any event that happened before that, that becomes before common era. So for example, they teach us that Gautama the Buddha was born in the 6th century BCE. So roughly 500 few and more years before the calendar started, or this zero mark of this calendar that we follow started. Any event which happened after that, after year 0, that is common era. Anything which happened before the year 0 is before common era. Okay,
I have a question.
Again, I told you, hold on to your questions. Not just hang on. Let me complete. So it's very important for us to also understand that sometime a few decades back, they used to use this terminology called BC and AD, where BC stood for before Christ and AD stood for Anno Domini or after Christ. I want to mute you all because you people forget to unmute, to mute yourself. That distracts. So, few decades back, historians, especially Bible-centric historians, used to use the terminology called BC and AD. BC was described as period before Jesus Christ was born, and AD was the period after Jesus was born. So birth of Jesus they took as a point on the timeline, as if Jesus Christ was an epoch-changing personality. Okay, but that was because they took Bible to be historically true. Now, of late, in the last 100 years, historians have realized that that is not really accurate. So therefore, they have thrown that BC and AD terminology out the window into the dustbin. Now we don't use BC and AD in historical literature. What do we use? We use CE and BCE. CE is our own time in the last 2020 years. So if we go back, turn the clock in the reverse direction, go back to the year 0 from which the counting of these 2020 years would have started. When we reach the year 0, any event that happened before that will be called BCE, before Common Era. Let's say somebody was born 10 years before that time, we will say he was born in 10 BCE. And after that 0, anything that happens, that we call Common Era. So I'll stop here to take questions. One by one, slowly ask your question and then mute yourself again.
What is YA?
Years ago. That's years ago. Okay. Years ago. Any other question?
No.
Okay, very good. So shall we take a break, or stop here? I have not been able to complete. I have still more like 10 minutes to go, but
yeah, I think so.
Can we? Maybe no. We'll talk about the rest of it later in next class. I think you people are tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They typed it in chat that they're hungry.
they are hungry. Okay, all right. So we will take a break at this point.
500.
So just watch, make it a habit to watch any messages, any comments in your Google Classroom, because all the homework, assignment, instructions will be shared in Google Classroom application. Somebody was asking me what is the code, etc. Ask your parents to message me in the WhatsApp if you don't have WhatsApp, or you can directly contact me by email or WhatsApp. I will give you the code. But that code expires today. So if you are not in the Google Classroom, immediately after, of course, having your lunch, ask me what is the code and join the classroom.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The Google Classroom is the one where you.
What?
I lost you.
Your mic cut off or something, bro.
Oh yeah, I just unmuted. Right. The Google Classroom is the one where you asked us to introduce us ourselves, right?
Correct. Yes. So you already are there. If you introduce yourself, then you are there.
I have a question.
Class is over?
So what time will be the homework posted?
Today evening, you will have the homework posted.
Okay, thank you. You're such an awesome teacher.
Thank you. So let us say a shloka and then we'll go home. Okay? So let us join our hands like this and say after me. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam. Not like this. Not like this. Once I stop, then you say.
Okay.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam.
Om Purnamadam
Purnat Purnamudachyate.
Purnat Purnamudachyate.
Purnasya Purnamadaya.
Purnasya Purnamdaya.
Purnameva Vashishyate.
Purnamevasishyate.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah.
Om
Sarve Santu Niramayah.
Sarve Santi Niramayah.
Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu.
Sarve
Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet.
Ma But
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Namaste. Talk to you soon.
Namaste. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, namaste. Good night.